We have with us Prasad Patwardhan, the CFO, joining on the show right now. Prasad, good to have you on the show. You won a large order for marine projects, as we understand right now, right? Worth more than 3,000 crore rupees. How is the tendering pipeline? What are the demand trends looking like?
Good morning, Aisha, and thank you for having me on your show. Yes, you're right. We have just disclosed to the stock exchange yesterday regarding a new order that we have won. And the ordering trends are pretty good. In fact, our order inflow in this year has exceeded 5,000 crores. We are just about 5 months into this financial year, and our order booking this year is already 5,000 plus crores. And our order book today is about 22,000 crores. And we see this ordering intensity continuing at least for this year or till the election code of conduct kicks in. After that, there may be a little bit of a lull till the Lok Sabha elections take place. But otherwise, the intensity is pretty strong this year.
The other thing I also wanted to understand, your revenue guidance for the fiscal, you've, put it around 6,000 crore rupees, right? Now with the rising expectations of orders and executions like you highlighted, I'm guessing you would upgrade your guidance, right?
Yeah, that's correct. In Q1 of this year, we did about 1,800 crores. So even, extrapolating the Q1 performance for the whole year, I think we should be in the range of 7,500 crores. God willing, and the monsoon not really impacting our execution in this year, I think we should see a pickup in the scale of our operations in Q3 and Q4. And I think should pretty comfortably be somewhere between 7,200 and 7,500, or maybe a little more than that as well.
What has changed, let's say, in last 6 months that you are in a position to increase the guidance? Because when you gave a guidance, you must have understood the scenario. You must have got a sense on your client commitments. The fact that you're looking at increasing your guidance, great news, no one's complaining. But what has changed that gives you the confidence?
Well, two things. One is the orders that we had won last year, we have seen a healthy pickup in execution. And secondly, the orders that we have won in this year, we have a pretty good visibility of the execution timelines. And the plan is already in place to ramp up the execution, as we have seen in the first quarter of this year. So we did 5,000 crores of top line last year. And in Q1, we have done 1,800 crores. So we are seeing that execution happening on the ground. And that is what gives us the confidence to increase the guidance for this year.
Now, I'm just looking at return ratios here, and your ROS, which is what we look at, ROCE, just for the benefit of our viewers. It was at 20% in March 2019, and even though you're sounding confident and you're bullish, it is below your March 2019 average. So now that operating leverage has kicked in, are you likely to go at least 20% in FY24 in return on ROCE?
Well, I wouldn't like to commit any number at this stage, but we'll certainly see an improvement in our operating performance and operating margins in Q3 and Q4 onwards. And that will naturally flow into our earning ratios as well. So we will see an improvement in ROCE in this year. What that quantum would be, it's too early for me to comment on it, but we'll certainly see an improvement.
Again, these are positive things. And I look at the number, I say, okay, why is this happening? Your working capital day, which was 90 in March 2019, according to our data, March 2023, it is down to 60 days, 6 days. That technically means that you need less working capital. If you need less working capital, what has changed here? It's a positive question. But when order book is moving higher, when things are moving up, the working capital days, they tend to increase before they reduce.
Well, our working capital days have not reduced that significantly. Actually, we'll be needing a little more working capital because all these new orders that we have won during this year or in the later part of the last year, we'll need to, invest in these projects for the initial maybe few months till the billing commences on these projects. So, yeah, in March, probably the working capital days would have come down because a lot of our government or PSU customers would have released a lot of payments to us in March. So that would have technically brought down the number of days in terms of working capital as of March for the previous quarter. But we will see some increase in our working capital days during the year as we start mobilizing and spending money on these new orders that we have won.
What role do you think state election cycle and the central election cycle will play? we've seen that when state election cycles are at play, they can create an havoc.
That is true, but we are not so dependent on state government projects. Most of the orders that we have under execution are metro projects or central government or PSUs. So, state elections typically have not had any significant impact on our operations. Lok Sabha elections, yes, because of the code of conduct kicking in, the new ordering may slow down for a few months. But otherwise, state elections should not really impact our operations in a large way.
Could you give us specific timelines on what's happening with, say the Ganga Expressway project, the revenue potential that you see from metro projects like Mumbai and Bangalore?
Ganga Expressway project is doing very well. In fact, we have been able to ramp up the execution, and a couple of months back we did in excess of 150 or 160 crores in 1 month. The monsoon impacted our the progress of work in the last month, but we are really scaled up and geared up to pick up the execution, and it will certainly be much more than what we have done in July. So that project is progressing quite well and is on schedule as per our plan. In terms of metro projects, the Mumbai Metro project is nearing completion. I think in the next 6 to 8 months, we should be substantially out of that project. Bangalore Metro is also performing very well. The tunneling is progressing well. We should be in a position to complete the tunneling by the end of this year or the first quarter of the next year. So that project is also performing well. Chennai Metro, we were awarded 2 projects last year, and we should be starting tunneling anytime, probably in the month of September. So even that project is going well now.
In light of your recent order that you've got from Bangladesh, tell me what is happening on the international front, and are you looking at growing your presence there and bidding more there?
Well, we are selectively looking at projects overseas. We recently, last year, we completed 1 project in Myanmar. We are executing 1 project in Sri Lanka now, and we have been awarded this project in Bangladesh. The good part about the project that we have been awarded in Bangladesh is that it is being funded by Export-Import Bank of India. So that gives us an additional layer of comfort. And the payments would be largely released to us by Export-Import Bank of India in India, although the project execution will happen in Bangladesh. So we are being a bit choosy and selective in the type of projects that we are looking at overseas.
Okay. But do you think the cycle of the business which you represent, it could be a 2 to 3 year cycle, or this is just a deep swell, more like a sugar rush, which may just fade away?
No, I don't think so. I think the government is pretty much realized that, focusing on infra development not only boosts the employment potential in India, but also will give a sort of a push to the GDP growth of the country. So I'm pretty confident that, whichever dispensation is in Delhi, the focus on infrastructure will remain. And this is not a one-off. I think for the next maybe 5-10 years at least, we see good times ahead for the infra space and infra development in India.
All right, Mr. Prasad, so nice to have you, and thank you for joining us, and so glad you could join us with your analysis. I mean, this is one stock which has done well in